today I have with me a very special guest. Her name is Margie McLaren, and she spent 31 years in the elementary school system and has also created a program called Magical Child, which I am obviously so excited to talk about. Uh, Her own healing journey from childhood conditioning prompted Margie to create a series of play shops and retreats under the name of Magical Child. The sessions are dedicated to the feelings, dreams, and fantasies of our inner child. Whether you're 5, which is my favorite number, or 105,
Yes.
we all have a magical child within that begs to be nurtured. That is always what I'm saying. Margie, thank you so much for
Hey, thank you, Keelan. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. I love your background.
Thank you. I love yours.
So let's talk about your origin story, kind of the pieces of your own childhood that led you through the education system and then to today to your programs that you're working on.
Thank you. Well, my mother's a fine musician, and so I grew up in a very musical family. And I love to dance. And often my parents were busy with raising their own family, and my father was a minister, but I created my own little magical living room, and I pulled out the LPs from my mother's stereo cabinet and lowered the needle and danced, and I would whirl and twirl around the living room with scarves or whatever I could find in the house. And it didn't matter if there was anybody there or not. I had my own little fantasy about being a big performer.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. I was really an imaginative, just bursting with joy kind of kid.
I know all about that. What kind of records were you playing?
Oh, West Side Story,
great.
Shirley Temple. Oh, a lot of the show tunes. I can remember the Pink Panther, da-dun, 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 and Sneak Around. So it was a lot of show tunes, things like that.
That's awesome. And then, so then you entered the educational system.
Yes, I did. As a music teacher, I taught music for 31 years. And for a while, it was always good. And I was always an avid learner to learn new methods to reach the kids. I used a lot of movement, a lot of rhythm, a lot of creativity. And then little by little by little, the benchmarks, the governmental systems, the expectations started to infringe. And I did it as long as I could, creating my environment the way I wanted. But when I had to sit there and bend my head down and wonder, how am I going to make what I want to do fit inside of their box, that's when it became a little bit stressful.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get back to that. And then you created the Magical Child.
I did because, I'm an Ageless Grace educator and trainer, and we have an annual retreat. And so I learned that Denise Medved, who created Ageless Grace, looks for trainers to do workshops and sessions at the annual retreat. And I searched my heart and I thought, well, what is it about me that's special and different? And that's when those images of the magical child came into play. And not only that, when I worked for many years with a therapist who helped me kind of uncover and get to the root of some of my childhood conditioning that I went through, he worked with a book by Bruce B. Davis called The Magical Child Within You. We spent months working with that book. So with that work with Kelly, my therapist, and with Denise Medved's request to have sessions by her trainers, bam, I just created Magical Child.
What is the program what do you do in the program?
Okay, so I have workshops and retreats, and every session would include some kind of hands-on crafting. It would include either a story or poetry, or it will always include dance. And it will always include imagination, and always include some kind of props like wands and scarves or wings, things like that. So we dance, we move, we create, and have fun.
Yeah, that's what it's about, right? And about what age groups are you playing with?
Good question. So although I do work with children, these are particular for women, and women of maybe your age, maybe my age, okay, maybe older, maybe younger. I've had people email me and say, please let me know when your next magical child is. I think I need this. And so these are women who maybe have already had a few children. Maybe they're starting to feel they've lost their connection. Life is beginning to be just too serious for them, too heavy. And so it's a lot of it is for that.
Yeah. And where are you doing these workshops?
Well, thank you for asking. I'll do them anywhere I'm asked, and I do them mostly in the Tallahassee area and some in South Georgia.
That's great. That's great. So let's go back to what Ageless Grace is about, just to touch on that a little bit, because I think, our discussion really is geared towards the inner children of the beautiful, amazing, magical parents that are watching.
Yes, exactly. So Ageless Grace is a brain health fitness program that is designed for anybody. That means 5 or 3 or the other end of the spectrum. And the beauty about Ageless Grace is that it activates the 5 main functions of the brain through movement and music. In public schools and in many situations, we're not activating the 5 main functions of the brain. Many times we're in one section of the brain. And so through using music and movement, we can activate the body and activate the brain, and also do things that are developmental that maybe some children missed out on when they were maybe newborns to age 1 or 2. So Ageless Grace can kind of reactivate some of those neural pathways, get them going. Ageless Grace is based on play. It's spontaneous and creative.
Good. So what are the 5 main brain functions? Because 5 is my favorite number.
Yes, thank you for asking. I love it too. Strategic planning, memory and recall, analytical thinking, creativity and imagination, and kinesthetic learning. So the kinesthetic learning, the hands-on, like we didn't read a book to go learn how to ride a bicycle or do a yo-yo. We just kept doing it and falling off. And after hundreds of times, bam, we did it.